Saw this documentary on LeBron too called More Than a Game. They had his high school coach on there, and his mom was on there, and they said LeBron was raised by a single mother in Akron, Ohio, and then interviewed his high school coach, and his high school coach was like, if LeBron would have had a dad in his life, his game would be at a whole nother level. I said, I don't think so. I think LeBron's better because he didn't have a dad in his life. Because LeBron's got like a broken home type of game. Because you could tell there's some pent-up aggression come from somewhere when he's on the court. Because he be dribbling hard, passing hard, dunking hard. Where the fuck is my dad? Mom, shit! God damn! You ever see Kobe Bryant? Kobe had a mom and dad. Bounce pass, layup. Hey, Dad!
What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Tunji's podcast. I am your host, Tunji Taylor Lewis. If you're watching this right now, if you see me looking to my side a little bit, it's because I have a game on right now. I'm currently watching the Patriots versus the Texans. I will be engaged as I'm doing this podcast right now, but I just got to make sure that I'm staying up to date on what's going on with the game. It looks like the Patriots are still struggling on offense right now. Hello, Maya girl, how you doing? Thanks you for joining my live. But today, speaking of sports, I kind of want to talk about the downside of having a competitive personality. What's going on, Slime? 4PF. That's an interesting Instagram title there, sir. But anyway, I want to talk about the downside of having a competitive personality because I am, in case you haven't figured out, a very, very competitive person. And there's a lot of good things that come with it, but there's some bad things that come with it. The good things that come with having a competitive personality is that, for one, like you end up being someone that works extremely hard, right? Like whatever you've put your mind to, you've made the decision that you're going to, like be the best or be the hardest worker in the room, sort of thing. The other part about it is like people who have really competitive personalities is like, for the most part, I find them to be very humble people, meaning as in, if you're walking into a situation, you want to learn how to do something right, and you've noticed that somebody has the ability to teach you that thing, you're going to be the one asking a lot of questions. You're going to be going through the process. You're going to be, just being humble, not being like insecure about the fact that you're not getting it quite yet, not being cocky about, so those people tend to be humble. Like in my experience and in my estimation and in my experience, as an example, going into my boxing lessons, knowing that I didn't know shit about it, but knowing that I wanted to get better at it every day, I was asking a lot of questions and I took in all of the feedback that more experienced people could give to me. So that's number two. What's another benefit of having a competitive personality? Just the general mindset of being the best that you can be at all times, I feel like is a good thing. Those are three off the top of my head. You work extremely hard, you're super humble, and you just have the mindset of being the best that you can be. However, the downside of having a competitive personality is that you are a very, very impatient person. Pointing at myself here, you're just very, very impatient. And I know that kind of contradicts what I just said about being humble and wanting to go through the process. That part is true, but I guess where the impatience comes in is when you feel like you're at a point where you feel like you deserve to go a level up, or you deserve a certain acknowledgement, or you deserve certain accolades, or you deserve to be at a certain point in your life or in your career or in this thing that you're taking on. Competitive people, and I include myself in this, tend to be very, very impatient with waiting to get what we feel like we deserve. And I'll give you guys like a perfect example of this. So, I've been, on this, acting and improv comedy and content creation grind for, the better part of I want to say 10 years. Well, let me not overhype myself. Let me be real for a second. Since 2012 is so 7, 8 years I've been going hard at this thing. Whether it's been performing on improv comedy shows, whether it's been, studying the great comics, the Eddie Murphys, the Martin Lawrences, the Will Smith, Cedric the Entertainer, Steve Harvey's, you name it, I've studied them. That is a big reason why I ended up doing those lip sync videos, is because those were comics that I had been studying anyways. Like, it wasn't just new stuff that I discovered. Like, I've been studying those guys for a while, and I knew kind of how to create content around stand-up comedy because of how much I'd studied it for a few years to that point. So that's that's another thing I'd been doing. Whether it'd been like studying, performers at my local theaters, or the theaters that I was performing at, people who were higher levels. I studied those people as well. Learning the best ways to market performances, market theater, market comedy. That being social media. Like, I was very, very. I dedicated myself very much to being the best that I could be. And that's been like a 7-year process of like really, really intentionally pursuing this comedy thing. And like earlier this year, I kind of got to a point where I was like really fed up and just really, really impatient, because even though I'm only 25, and even though I still have a lot of life left to go, and like even though like there's still like plenty of stuff for me to have, I did kind of get to a point where I kind of understood that, like I understand that I'm not by any means like at the level of the greats that I admire, but I am certainly at a point where there should be certain opportunities coming my way based on my level of production, based on my resume, and based on what's the word I was looking for? Level of production, resume, and just my body of work. That's what I was trying to say. Based on my body of work, based on what I have proved myself to be capable of, there are certain opportunities that, that I'm definitely qualified for. As a matter of fact, that I'm overqualified for. There's opportunities that I could be getting. And the reason why I get impatient about that sort of shit is because my whole goal with this whole comedy thing, with this whole acting thing, my number one goal was to make a living. That's really my only goal with this stuff, is to make a living doing what I love to do, and that's performing and that's entertaining people. I'm doing well. I'm not struggling like I once was before. I'm not doing the starving artist thing. However, with that being said, you just take a look around in the industry and you realize like, there's people who don't have like the resume and the body of work that I do, and yet they're freaking, thousandaires, or you know what I mean. They're living very, very comfortably. You know what I'm saying? And you just look around and you're just like, man, like, man, is this thing ever gonna happen? Like, after how hard and how much I've dedicated myself to my craft, is it ever gonna happen? Like, I gotta do more of this. Like, if I've put in this much work, if I've put 7 years of like pure dedication to this thing, and I'm still struggling to make a living purely off of my side hustle and purely off of the stuff that I've dedicated myself towards, because my money is coming from a job that I'm using to support myself while I try to get my side hustle off the ground. You know what I'm saying? But I've worked really hard to make my side hustle my career, and it's still not there yet. And it's hard not to compare yourself to people who seemingly don't have the same like work ethic, don't seem to have the same drive, don't seem to have the same body of work as you do, and yet they're having an amazing career at it. But I just kind of like have boiled that down to, what? I'm competitive. I'm competitive, and with being a competitive personality comes with being impatient about this sort of stuff, and wanting what you feel like is what you feel like you deserve, or wanting what you feel like you're qualified for. And And you know, I'm very, very glad that I have that knowledge about myself. I'm very glad that I'm able to just so basically I'm just gonna dedicate myself to just being patient. Just being patient, just keep on grinding, keep putting my head down, not worrying about what I feel like I'm qualified for, not worrying about what this person's got or what this other person's got in comparison to how good I am to they are. Not gonna worry about any of that shit. Just stay patient, just stay on the grind, and you know, just gonna continue to build. And you know, whatever comes my way, whatever people come my way, whatever opportunities that come my way, that's what God had for me the whole time. So just trusting and believing in God's plan for my life. And yeah, man. But so y'all, that's just my you know, brain dump for today. I see some of y'all are right now fighting in my live, in my comment section right now. I don't know why y'all are doing that, but you know, all y'all stay blessed. Appreciate y'all joining my live and just you know, just vibing with me as I figure this thing called life out and just, you know, vex a little bit. But peace out, y'all. Love y'all.